No, so far. We're waiting for tomorrow as well, the last training session, to understand whether we have one or two available from last week.
Yeah, of those ones, Kai Havertz, Ben White and Max Dowman didn't make the North London derby. Are you hopeful some or all of them can be there?
Yeah, we are hopeful. Max will play some minutes tonight with under 21s. Kai will train tomorrow, and Ben, let's see.
Champions League draw has been made, I'm sure you're aware, by Leverkusen next. Are you pleased with that draw, and do you see this potentially as a big opportunity for this club to do something that they've not done before and go all the way?
Well, we are very excited to play the next round. We have earned the right to be in a strong position, what we've done in the group stage, and that's it. And now we need to start to analyse them and find ways to be better than them, to try to go through the tie.
Mikel, can you compare the mood and how you've been in the days following Wolves and the days following Tottenham Hotspur?
Not too high, not too low. I try to be as stable as possible. Try to have perspectives always about what a result or a performance brings outside or within the group, and always try to be positive about it.
When you say you try to stay like that, is that something that you've developed consciously over the years that you've been here?
Yeah, something that I need. If not, it becomes insane. I mean, if you are like this every single day, I'm happy and sad like this, you cannot be like this. You cannot give your best with that. Obviously, you have to be very critical with yourself, very analytical with what we do, and try to be always as good as we possibly can.
I want to ask you about Victor Gyokeres. 8 goals in his last 12. Previously, it was 1 in the previous 10. Can you give us an insight into what has brought about this turnaround and the conversations that you might have had with him?
Well, I think one thing leads to another. You know, when you score the first one and the performances are good, you have more time with your teammates, you understand the games, the opponent, the league better, everything helps. We know his qualities. He's undoubtedly an incredible striker. We need to fit to his quality. We need to understand him better. He needs to understand the team, the league better, and I think we are in the right trajectory.
You've consistently been asked about Victor Gyokeres and his form throughout this season and since he signed at Arsenal, and you backed him, you've never doubted him. Has he had any kind of self-doubt about how it's going for him and any confidence issue?
I don't know. That's a question for him. Obviously, I know the demands that he put in himself, the expectations that he has to help the team. And I'm confident because I ask a lot of times our defenders when they have to train against our players, how do you feel when? Oh, it's a nightmare. And that's a really good way to understand the quality of a player or how it is to defend him.
Final one from me, Mikel. It's 7 wins and 3 draws in your last 10 against Chelsea, which looks like an extraordinary record given the 2 teams that we're talking about here. Is there anything we've got a psychological advantage? Does that exist when you're playing a team and you're getting good results against them?
No, I think what it is about the preparation, and the preparation gives you confidence and the right emotional state to get to the game with the belief and the conviction that you're going to win it, and after that you have to earn the right to do it.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you.
Sam, brilliant.
Mikel, good to see you.
Hi.
You've got 7 games coming up in March. Does it feel like a month that could define Arsenal's season?
I don't think much we will, but I think it will be very important for what is going to be happening in April and May, that's for sure, because there are competitions and knockout stages, and then you are in or you are out.
Your side scored 19 goals in the past month or so. The record under you in this season is 113 goals. How pleased are you with Arsenal's attacking play at the moment, and can we now officially call Arsenal an exciting side to watch?
Well, I think we have scored more goals in a single season than ever in the history of Arsenal Football Club. So you can put any name or any adjective that you want. It's up to you.
Reece is absolutely fine. Romeo Lavia is getting stronger and stronger. We had a mini practice match in the week where he looked really good in, which is great for him. Unfortunately, Este will be out for a little bit longer, and Jamie's progressing really, really well in terms of his rehab.
Anything else to kind of update us on the team at the moment?
No, Cuckoo is progressing really, really well, but he's not available for Sunday. But hopefully we get him back in as quickly as possible. Levi's doing really, really well with his long-term rehab. So at the moment, Dario is back on the training pitch as well as Sugo, which is good. And hopefully we can get all of these players back and fit for the running of the season.
PSG in the Champions League. They're the European champions, but this club obviously has a decent record against them recently as well in the Club World Cup. How do you react to that draw?
So excited. PSG are a fantastic team. Obviously, I have experience of playing against them in France. They're a team that I've always admired. I think Lewis done an incredible job there. These are the games you live for. These are the games that you come into football for, and it's going to be a great tie between two fantastic teams. And I'm really, really looking forward to it, but we've got another 3 games before that I need to focus on.
How's Wesley Fofana, and how have you been kind of dealing with that situation this week after you received that news after the game?
Yeah, it was obviously a tough day for Wes. Firstly, obviously what happened in the game. Secondly, the fallout and racist abuse that he got online. Wes he's a tough guy. He's a good guy. But it's amazing. You spoke about racism last week in the press conference, and it affects you in ways that it just shouldn't exist. It shouldn't exist, whether it's online, whether it's verbal, in person. It's just something that we have to try our very best to eradicate from life, let alone football. But Wes is absolutely fine. He's trained well this week.
Chelsea did record a pre-tax loss of £355 million for the financial year 2024-2025. In terms of your job though, is it going to affect anything in terms of having to sell players? Have you spoken to the club above about how these losses potentially affect your job, what you do?
Now, my job is to focus on the team, is to try and make the team and the squad as strong as possible to eventually win things. That's why I'm here. I will have those conversations with the ownership and the guys above me, but that's something that's not really at the forefront of my mind. I just want to make sure that on the pitch we're as successful as possible.
Some interesting comments from Maheta Malonga yesterday from the PFA. He specifically mentioned Cole Palmer talking about player welfare. He said he'd been there in the summer and saw how tired the players were from the schedule that they sort of had to undertake, but especially Cole Palmer. Just wondered what you made of those comments, especially relating to Cole.
No, obviously you want not just Cole. Cole's a magnificent player. You want every player in football to be at their very best, to be at the top of their health, to be able to give the fans what they want to see. They pay a lot of money to follow us, to watch us. But in terms of getting involved in that stuff, I think you speak about the Club World Cup, and it's been a difficult schedule for the players, but I don't think any of them regret that experience, which was an incredible experience for them and for the club. You want to find a balance. Do I have the answer to that? 100% not. So I understand it from both sides.
Mikel Arteta talking about Victor Gyokeres, his confidence. Yeah. You were at the North London derby. Was that his best match in an Arsenal jersey?
Yeah, without doubt. 2 goals against Tottenham Hotspur in a big derby. No matter how Tottenham are struggling at the moment, I thought his finishes were fantastic. He took him really, really well. Could have obviously defended a little bit better against him, but I think he's that confidence what he will be getting there. That is typical of him, that goal there, and this one really. He's nothing silky about him, but he's effective. He puts the ball in the back of the net. That's what he does. This is a little bit more silky, the touch and swivel and hit behind Vicario before he even sees it. And there's strength here, get off and just steers it into the corner. He's got a lot to offer. I think it's 10 Premier League goals now. If he can get 15 goals, I'm outraged. Even if he don't score again, he contributes for them lifting the title at the end of the season. It would have been a good signing, and he will only get better. Let's not forget, he's at Coventry before, he's been in Brighton, so he's been in the country, but he's never played in the Premier League. He's getting used to it. It takes time, and he gets time to get used to your players as well in your team. And obviously, Mikel said he watches them train against the quality of defenders, what they have every single day, and he's a nightmare. So if he's a nightmare against them, he's capable of playing against any team and scoring goals. I feel sorry for him sometimes. I think he wants the ball in certainly he wants it a little bit quicker. he's not getting it quicker at the moment. So there was a couple of times at the weekend when I watched him close and he was, fighting, dragging us in all over the place. Happy to do that. Not all strikers are happy to have that wrestle all of the time, but he's capable of doing it. I think he can still develop, I think he's still a young man and Mikel can teach him.
Yeah, 14 goals in all competitions this season for Victor Gyokeres. In 2026, no Premier League player has scored more goals than him in all competitions, and yet opinion is still very divided. What's your opinion?
Well, I think that the goal tally and how he's performed, certainly in the more recent weeks and months, you can see that improvement and you can see the quality that he has. And sometimes, actually, that reputation of fans or opposing fans being on your back, sometimes that helps you a little bit, because I think he looks like he's the sort of player that if someone's got, challenges him like that, he sort of thinks, yeah, fine, I'll show you. And I think for Arsenal to have someone that can contribute 10 plus goals in a season is huge, because they also get goals from other areas. And they've got other players that contribute. I think Trossard's had a very good season. Right, Odegaard's had injuries, but when he plays, very effective, dangerous, chances. They've had goals from across the board. So to also have a number 9 who's now picking up in form at this point in time, that's huge.
Yeah, the result itself was pretty huge for Arsenal, especially given what Manchester City had done 24 hours earlier against Newcastle. Cut that gap to just 2 points. It's very, very heated right now. And this response was the perfect response, really.
It was, yeah. And Eze's back. Look, well, where's he been? I mean, he's just only turns up for the North London derbies. He's got an incredible... Colin Moani scores, and you think, at half-time, you think, you know what, he could take this deep into the game. And they could get really edgy and the anxiety could breed. And 2.5 minutes into the second half, that happens. That calms them down. And then Eze pops up again. I mean, he'll give him a huge amount of confidence. I thought he would grow after the first hat-trick in the reverse fixture. And he hasn't been performing that well. And the manager's left him out. He made a defensive mistake against Aston Villa. And there's that wonderful finish from Gyokeres as well. So confidence is flooding through the group now. They've got Jesus who's fit. Havertz is not far away again. So they're looking very strong, aren't they?
Do you start Eze instead of Odegaard? Do you find that Eze's
I don't
connection?
Think 100% Eze would not start that game unless he had scored a hat-trick in the reverse fixture. Now, different kettle of fish. Confidence coming back, whether he starts him against Chelsea. Odegaard come on and was outstanding in the game. Comes on with the attitude you want from a leader. Like, he was triggering the press, he was getting the ball, he was passing it quick. Listen, it was a great... If you're Mikel Arteta, it's a fantastic problem to have. They've got so much quality. Madueke's been playing really well. He sat on the bench. But I think it was because it was Tottenham and he'd scored the hat-tricks previously. Sometimes... it's good if you can get a habit of scoring against your North London derby rivals. I mean, incredible. Now, he don't have to do anything all season now. He just put his feet up there, but he will get lauded by them Arsenal fans. That's how big I scored in that game. And I wasn't playing very well before, and I wasn't playing very well after, but it didn't really matter because I was a hero who scored a winner in that fixture.
Yeah, 5 goals in the 2 North London derbies. Is that his transfer fee paid?
Goes a long way, doesn't it? I'm sure he's not finished there. He'll want to play for England and he's got a big say. Yeah. He's an excellent player. He really is. Yeah,
big couple of months ahead of them. That game, no doubt, so important given what Manchester City had done before them. But, I think it's going to be like that for the next couple of weeks coming now. City are going to play first, then Arsenal. And let's look at their next games coming up because there are some tough fixtures in there. There always are in the Premier League. But Chelsea is the last one, I think, in the top kind of half of the table, in the top Champions League chasing places, until they play Man City themselves in the cup final.
Yeah, and I think just what's important to point out is the number of games that Arsenal are going to have to play. That's literally essentially just the 3 weeks of March. Just more than that. And that's a lot of games. And those Champions League games, Tim saying, you've got a favourable draw. There were harder teams to get. There's also difficult games. They're not easy. There's a bit of extra travel involved. Again, people are saying comfortable draw in the FA Cup, and yes, it is, but it's away from home. That won't be. It's another travel, playing on a pitch that won't be what they're used to, and all these little extra things. It's just a lot of games. You've got to recover. Different players will have to contribute, and there will be a number of players that are going to have to stand up in both boxes and do their job. So that, for me, will be the test for Arsenal in these 3 weeks. It's a huge volume of games.
Yeah, I always think it's harder for London teams to win the Premier League because there's so many derbies, and that's what comes next. They took care of Tottenham, and that could have gone either way, especially on the back of a poor result against Wolves, giving them a 2-goal lead, and then they come back and they draw. But we saw they're capable Wolves, and they've got some fight in them now, and they took it to Arsenal. But Chelsea have got more threats than Tottenham. So this is going to be a huge game of football.
They've already played each other once in the league and then twice in the League Cup, which Arsenal had to get past Chelsea to set up that final with Manchester City at the end of the month. Does that affect anything? Do you know each other better then? Are the games closer, or does it not?
Possibly. You have a look at each other, yeah. Who knows what team he's going to pick? We're trying to second guess Mikel, and he could do the same, with Chelsea's lineup. They've got a lot of options, especially in forward areas, both sides. So it's very difficult to really know how they're going to go about the game. So it's just an opportunity. The Chelsea fans do not like Arsenal. They don't like Tottenham. They don't like anyone, actually, especially if they're anyone from London. And Chelsea have won the Premier League a few times, and the last thing they want is for Arsenal to win the Premier League. They would much rather it be Man City and much rather it be Liverpool. But if Arsenal were to win it, they wouldn't like that very much. So there's an opportunity to spoil the party, and that comes this weekend.
Yeah, so the big takeaway there is Chelsea don't like anybody. And
No.
we'll leave it at that.
And no one
are chasing Champions League themselves, though, and that race is pretty heated. They would have seen what happened with the Villa result. They will know that Liverpool have an opportunity to open a little bit of a gap. Manchester United also in the chase. Chelsea need the result.
They do. They've got their own motivation. I'm intrigued for this one because obviously the 2 legs in the League Cup, there's quite a bit of criticism on how there was a feeling they went out with a whimper.
Yeah.
And I think when that's your rivals, that adds an extra edge. There's an element of pride there. And so I think it'll be interesting, in terms of how they set up and structure, that may look somewhat similar. But I think in terms of the intensity of how they compete in certain areas and, tackles in the first 5-10 minutes, I think that's going to be big for Chelsea this weekend because there's an expectation that there will be a response, I think, from the fans.
Yeah, and there must be a response to the Burnley game as well. They've lost dropped points in their last 2 games, back-to-back draws, after that wonderful start from Liam Rosenior. And once again for Chelsea, discipline being an issue, losing Fofana and then going on to concede that equaliser. That's got to be a concern. Now, what do you put that down to?
I was at this game and, the first 5-10 minutes, they were fantastic.
Yeah.
Honestly, you were thinking, before they scored, which they scored in the opening 5 minutes, you were thinking this could be 5 or 6 intensity. Fofana getting the red card, we talked pre-game, again, he was on a yellow, that's a tackle you just can't make. Exposed them, and then Burnley got themselves back in the game. But, they make so many defensive changes. Now they've got a couple of injuries there. Gyokeres still missing. Now another suspension, they're going to have to change again. I think that is disrupting them. And the result against Burnley was a poor one because you're at home playing a team that's second bottom of the league and you want to play Champions League football next season. You got to make sure you get the result, and they just took the foot off the gas. Again, there's now going to be an expectation. We need a response from that.
Yeah, if you look at Villa, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, if you compare them and where they are right now and their potential in the rest of the season, did Chelsea get Champions League for you?
No, I think they miss out. I think Villa will pick up. They've got a nice gap there. I think Man United are odds on for me. I think they're like a steam train at the moment, got some confidence running for them. And I think Liverpool will have enough. So I think Chelsea might just miss out. The worry I have with Chelsea Football Club is that they have to win pretty all the time. And when it is pretty, like Rachel said, it's excellent. But I'm not sure they've got the characters and the know-how within their side to dig results out. We've seen Arsenal do that. They find a way, whether it's from a set piece or whatever it takes. It's still the same amount of points at the end of it. Chelsea seem to have to play well to win games, and I'm not sure they're consistent enough with their performances.
Said teams that win titles win that game 1-0.
Yeah.
How close do you think this squad is to get in there?
We're not far. I'm excited. I'll be honest. I'm excited. I'm even more excited now after getting to know the players in the group than I was when I first joined, and I was very excited then. I don't think there's much. I think it's about a group growing together, learning together. And I think we're close to being consistently a very, very good team.
How much do you believe in the Opta supercomputer? Because if you listen to it, then you guys have got it really tough coming up.
So I'd love to see who does all of these stats with this supercomputer. Doesn't make any difference to me. I don't take notice of those things. The reality for us, with the quality in the group that we have, is we are more than capable to win every single game we play. My record's not bad since I've come in, and but for minor details that we've got wrong in the last 2 games, we'd be sat here with 6 wins out of 6. We need to make sure we iron out those details because we can still have a very, very good season.
You did speak about, being a coach compared to being a pundit. And there was a lot of criticism, after the last Arsenal game in terms of the approach. But would you see it as, if in football there's fine margins?
That's the life of a coach. I reacted to a question in a press conference. I didn't know who had said what. I got told that a pundit had said that my tactics were wrong and they thought we should have played. So in that moment, I said it's easier to be a than a coach because it's hindsight. The life of a coach is you are a mistake away or a missed chance away from being a genius. But the only thing that tells us the final score. So for me, I love this job. I'm so happy in it. And yeah, I just want to continue to do the very, very best I can within that and not take any notice of any noise outside of it.
A lot of people, I think, could have related to a picture of you that popped up this week, having a beer at the end of work.
Yes, it's a crime. It's mad to me. I know that pretty much probably 90 to 95% of Premier League managers would have a pint after the game. What I would ask is, why is it a picture of me? I would ask that question. Why I say that is because it affects my children. It's not me. I couldn't care less. I know what's coming. But yeah, I saw the picture. We had a good laugh at it. Reece James asked me if I enjoyed my pint when we got back to training the next day. That is what it is. I can't control that. But I'm a normal guy. I like to have a pint, I like to have a conversation, and I won't change who I am.
Well, Liam Rosenior there, and as you can see, former England international Izzy Christiansen has joined Jules and Steve on the sofa. Izzy, welcome along. We just saw that interview with Liam Rosenior, and I guess the thing that may be hopeful for Chelsea fans is he says Chelsea are close to getting to those titles. I mean, what did you make of that?
I think it's interesting because he's probably not had long enough yet in the job to be able to gauge, the progress he's made with the team. His league form's certainly good, albeit the last 2 draws in the league. But I think the type of manager he is, the type of coach he is, he's a very intelligent guy. And I think the way that he comes across, I think some perceive it as a little bit performative, but I think he's so articulate with the way he portrays his message. As long as his messages are clear to the players, that squad, some of the players in that Chelsea team are top. Yeah. So if he can get them rolling, they will be closer to titles, but they're obviously competing in a very competitive industry right now.
Yeah, I love what you said about, it can be perceived as performative, but Sid, you've played with Liam.
Yeah, I know him.
And you know him very well, and you know that what you're saying is what you're getting.
That is him. That is him. He's a really good communicator. I found that when I played with him in the dressing room, the communication that he'll be giving them players, he'll be giving them every bit of confidence. He'll dig them out when they need to be dug out, as he has done in recent weeks. Yeah. But he's going there, giving them real self-belief, real belief. I think he's trying to build a cultural environment that's a winning culture, a winning environment, because they haven't got the experience. That's always going to come from within. And it's exactly the same as when, don't say this lightly, when Jose Mourinho went into Chelsea and was like telling Frank Lampard in the shower, he's the best midfield player in the world. It's moments like that that then sparks a little bit, one individual than another. Yeah. It's a sort of chain reaction. So that's what he's getting from each of his players.
Do you think knowing him, though, do you think he'll regret, everyone pointed so much to that moment at the Emirates Stadium where he's arguing about the goalkeeping coach coming at this bit here. Yeah. Do you think he regrets this warm-up moment?
Yeah, maybe. And listen, he's a young coach, isn't he? He'll learn. Sure. He'll learn, and he's emotional, but he's got a lot of emotional intelligence, but he knows what's right and what's wrong. And if someone's kicking balls in his half in their warm-up, he'll go and say, but listen, he'll learn that. I think at that time, it's a semi-final, it's a big moment for him. But like we said there, he's learning on the job as well. So it's, but I've got no doubt that he will be near to be bringing success to Chelsea. I really think that highly of him.
I think it'd be interesting to see if Arsenal's goalkeeping coach goes into their half at the Emirates on Sunday. One thing that I will be intrigued to see if it reoccurs again is their tactic for Arsenal's corners. Julian, I mean, that game, there was that moment where, Arsenal go to take the corner and Chelsea, all of a sudden, they step out. We're seeing it here. Do you think this is a good plan? Do you think they'll use it again?
They did it against Spurs away, which was the first time that they were Spurs being very good on corners and set pieces as well. The issue I have is the timing a little bit, because I'm not really sure that changed anything the way they did. I think just leave those three players up at the start of, even before Madueke is just about to take that corner. But it's probably to go back to the corners that we will talk later, and that kind of scramble really in the 6-yard box. At least there's a bit more space. That doesn't mean you're going to defend them better, because as we saw against Burnley last weekend, for example, they were terrible at defending corners.
Yeah. My only thing, Izzy, I'll ask you about this. That corner, the players come out. Surely you just play it short.
Well, yeah, there's the gaps.
And the gaps are there, no?
Well, exactly. But the clever thing about it is, and whether Rosenior was thinking this far ahead or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But now there's a seed planted in the Arsenal camp's mind around what they're going to do and how they're going to counteract it on Sunday. And we think of the magnitude of the game on Sunday. It's absolutely massive for both teams. And you just wonder in those moments there. But for me, I don't know what you guys think, but at Chelsea, I think they need to play safe on Sunday. I think they have to almost go, and I see that kind of set piece ritual as a little bit risky. Now, there's also a reward attached to it as well. If they deliver the ball, Arsenal, and Chelsea get the first contact, clear it, and then all of a sudden you got those fast players on the transition, and they score off it, everyone's going, it's genius. But I think that is a moment where you kind of go, I think Chelsea need to play a little bit safer to stay in the game as long as possible on Sunday.
Sid, what do you reckon?
I'd go the opposite.
Yeah.
I think they come out the traps.
Really?
I think Liam will go to this. I think he'll go, we've got enough in this dressing room that can cause this team an upset. And we show this from the very, very start. I think he got shot down a little bit in the last tactics from the semi-final. I think this one, they've got players out there that can really cause damage, and I think he's going to be front foot, let's go for it.
No Fofana, no Cucurella though. So already half of your back four
James
is that.
They've had to deal with that for the majority
No, true,
of
but
the
still
season
it's
as
not
well.
ideal.
No.
Yeah. And a really interesting one. I saw this as an article that Jamie Carragher wrote about it. Rosenior's the 6th Chelsea boss that Mikel Arteta has faced. Do we think the model that Chelsea have kind of had, do you think it's time now that they're looking at Arsenal and almost wanting to emulate that, going for a manager that they can stick with and back in Rosenior?
Well, I think that I read that in terms of what Jamie Carragher had said about, and I think it was really smart in what he said about the success that Arteta had with the FA Cup in 2020. That immediate success, and that almost bought him the time. And obviously Arsenal have come so close to those titles and what they've wanted to achieve, but they've developed this machine, and now they're in with a chance of the quadruple this season. It's crazy, and it's so admirable what they've done. But I think with Chelsea, I think there's that instant success needed, and also the trust and the longitude, like the long plan of, what Sid said there was something different, that physicality in the box. But I don't know what the guys think, but especially his time at Brighton, he played quite a lot of games in the number 10 role, even like number 8 role, and it's just so interesting to see. That's probably helping him in this 9 role, and he's such a powerhouse. He caused Gabriel and Saliba big issues in the League Cup ties against Arsenal, which goes to show, the threat that he could be. And I still think there's so much more he can achieve in the game.
Yeah, listen, I'm only a fan, Sid, but you tell me if I'm right tactically on this. Sometimes I feel like he almost drops a little bit too deep. And you want to see him a little bit further up the pitch.
Yeah, what all strikers do now, don't they? Very rarely do you get a striker now that literally just stays on the defender or stays on the shoulder. Ollie Watkins, to a point, would probably do that. What I love about him, he's got that bit of edge, isn't he? He's got that bit of tenacity as well. He's hard working, he does the hard yards, works hard for the team. He runs off the ball really good. He's got every kind of finish. Got full of confidence in his wide players, knowing that he's got a Neto or a Cole Palmer that can deliver on the button as well. And if he makes the runs, 9 times out of 10 he's going to get delivery that he can put it away.
The question for all three of you, though, who would you want in your team? All right, so we'll go with João Pedro, Gyokeres, Šeško or Ekitike. Is he
current form?
Go on then. Current form, yeah. Current form.
Start with Sid's now.
Sid, start with Sid.
Got to go with João Pedro. Šeško would be up there just because he's making impact, but
João Pedro,
yeah.
I mean, I have to buy. You don't have any English strikers in that list, but I've got a French one. I have to go with him.
Yeah.
I'm going to go João Pedro as well.
Okay. Well, I'll go Gyokeres. I mean, he's the highest scoring out of all of them. So
I was only joking. Matt, great to have you with us in the studio. Plenty of talking points in match week 27. Let's start with the North London derby. Emphatic response to dropping points at Wolves from Arsenal at Spurs. I thought they were terrific in the game.
No, they were. They ruled the game, really. Great response, just what the manager would have hoped for. I thought they dominated throughout, really, and Tottenham wasn't a good day for them, and Arsenal countered on that.
Yeah, pressure was on, particularly after Man City winning against Newcastle. It closed that gap, but obviously extended back to 5 points. Two teams yet to play each other as well in this title race. So plenty of twists and turns still in the race for the title. Let's have a look at the teams that the two managers selected. Igor Tudor's first match in charge of Spurs. Thomas Frank obviously departed. Went with a back three. Well, actually, I say a back three. It was probably more of a five, really, wasn't it? If you looked at it, the system, Van der Ven in the back three with Dragashan and Paulinho, Spence and Archie Gray, and actually it probably was more of a 5-4-1 at times as well. Simmons asked to do quite a bit of defensive work on that left-hand side. Gallagher, Bissouma, Kolo Muani up top. It was more like that, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it did turn into that throughout the game, only because Arsenal was so good with the ball and they got their wide players high and wide and really pinned back Gray and Spence, which became a real problem for Tottenham because later on the game they couldn't get out when they did regain possession. So that was a real problem for them, that they got pinned and then they never really had an out pass.
As far as Arsenal are concerned, the interesting decisions, Trossard and Eze coming back into the team. And Eze in particular, he scored a hat-trick, hadn't he, against Spurs earlier in the season at Arsenal, back in that number 10 role, and Saka back out to the right-hand side where he's much more comfortable.
Yeah, I think you get the best of Saka out there for sure. He feels comfortable out there. You could see that against Wolves. I think we'll show some clips later where he's inside. You can see that he's not really in the position where he wants to receive the ball, whereas he drifts wide, and that's him at his best. And to see Eze play, I think, was brilliant. I saw the manager's comments where he talks about he got a feeling for that moment, for the game, for him. And obviously, great history when he first went there. I think it was his debut where he scores a hat-trick and 2 goals again. So, yeah, great decision from the manager.
I suppose he got the big decisions right then, didn't he? Bringing Eze into the team at number 10. And also, Gyokeres up top, because he could easily have gone with Jesus, maybe, couldn't he, up top? And there's, Gyokeres has come under a little bit of fire for his performances. He's scored a lot of goals in 2026, but he went with Victor Gyokeres and he was repaid.
Oh, it was fantastic. I think that for the manager, he's a player that he's signed. He'll want him to do well. He'll be helping him on the training pitch day to day. And certainly, as you say, repaid him in abundance.
You touched on it and talked about how Arsenal was so good in possession. I think Saka being on the right, that combination with Timber was really important. If we look back at the Wolves game just quickly and show Saka in the position that he played in that match in particular, and if we just pause it straight away, he was playing as a number 10. So this is Bukayo Saka against Wolves in midweek. It's Madueke who's on the right-hand side in that position. Saka, I think, a place where he would prefer to play. If we play it on, I think this was really interesting. This is an example of something that happened quite regularly in this game. So Bukayo Saka, who's a number 10, and there he is. We'll just highlight him again. But automatically, he's making his way out to this right-hand side, where he feels most comfortable, most at home. Play it on. Arsenal trying to cycle the ball. Now, all of a sudden, that's where he wants to be. When I say that's where he wants to be, he actually probably wants to be where Madueke is, doesn't he? Yeah,
he does. He likes to play on the shoulder and with his back to the touchline, you can see all the pitch. And he actually, in this instance, he forces Madueke inside the pitch and takes his moment.
And what it has done as well is, in this area here, you've got no one to link the play. Where Eberechi Eze, Martin Odegaard like to operate, the number 10, Bukayo Saka, naturally comes out to the right-hand side, and you've left that space vacant now. So you're not really disrupting that Wolves backline, are you? You're not asking anyone to come in and get tight to you. No. As you quite rightly say about Madueke, he comes inside. So he's trying to balance it off now. So he's coming into that position, but he's not as a 10, is he, in there?
No, yeah.
He's still on the right.
As you say, I don't think the three centre-halves for Wolves, it doesn't really cause them a problem. They've not got a decision to make. They can stay in a flat, compact 3. Whereas when you get Eze in there as a 10 that wants the ball in that pocket, and Saka, if you watch, he can make runs into this space where he really wants to do his work.
Yeah, so play it on, lose the ball. And this is the North London derby. So, as we said, Bukayo Saka back on the right-hand side. As we're filtering play, I'll take it back just slightly. And I'll highlight Eberechi Eze in the number 10 position. Instead of, as we saw from Bukayo Saka, drifting into this space, where there is space here at the moment, so he could come into that area, he actually backtracks into the space that's already there. And Bukayo Saka now is in familiar ground. Yeah. That's where he wants to be, isn't it?
This position here is Saka at his best. I think last season his numbers were fantastic. And you can see that in this moment his body shape is ready to go and attack. He's got a real problem on his hands. And Arsenal at their best, continue to feed him.
I think we saw from Tottenham as well, just before we carry this on, a team that weren't quite sure of what they were being asked to do, whether they were being a team that was asked to press, whether a team that were looking to just be compact, be deep, and who should be getting out to help Jed Spence as well. I think they got caught in so many different minds. Was it going to be Van der Ven that was going to come across? Was it going to be Sarr that was going to come across? Was it Xavi Simons that had to do the job defensively to come and help? I don't think they quite grasped exactly what they were being asked to do.
No, I think obviously that as a defensive team, you want your units across the pitch, sort of in 3 lanes up the pitch. And here you can see, I mean, they're on the other side of the pitch completely, and they need to swing across to the ball quicker to make sure that the gaps are closed. But in this instance, they don't do that.
And that communication is vital. And Saka picks up the ball. And actually, Xavi Simons has got himself into a good position here with Yuri and Timber. So he's goal side, where you want him to be. But then where's the communication? Are you going to pass him on? Are you going to say to Sarr, it's your job when he makes that run inside? Are you going to say to Van der Ven, it's your job? We'll play it on. He switches off. Doesn't go with a run. Timber gets in. And Arsenal almost score.
Yeah, it's a great. It's wide play combination's fantastic.
Yeah.
But as you say, I think more work with the manager. Probably they'll lock that down. How do we suffocate that space so that there's not the room for Saka to go 1v1?
Bukayo Saka much happier though in that position. I think what we saw with Arsenal as well is they like to get bodies into that forward line, and lots of them. That's 4 in the front line. High up the pitch, trying to stretch the pitch as much as possible. You've got 4 players high up the pitch. You've also got a 5th in a number 10 position, if you like. Ezra's almost at the top end of the pitch. But they've got bodies high up.
Yeah, they have. They've sort of created a keep ball in this area of the pitch and a keep ball here. And they're trying to get it to there in a controlled manner. And I think that the 2 centre midfielders and the 2 centre halves for Arsenal are so important in possession, because they lock out, which means that when Tottenham do regain the ball, there's pressure on the midfielders. They can't get a pass
immediately.
Here they feed the front 5 fantastically well.
I think what we saw as well in the game, Gyokeres kept drifting over to that left-hand channel, if you like. So you've got Van der Ven here, who's the quickest centre-half in the Premier League. I think that's fair to say. Doesn't want to stand by Van der Ven because he knows pace-wise he probably won't win it. Where's the weakest area of that defence? You're probably looking at Paulinho as a midfielder, playing in the back 3. Yeah. You've got Dragashan, who's not played a great deal of football. You've got Archie Gray, who wants to play in midfield. So those 3 players for Spurs, probably the weakest area of their defence. And I think Gyokeres recognised that. Utilised that area of the pitch quite a lot. Got into that channel, taking his man on, gets a shot away. Thought it was excellent.
Yeah, he's got a sighter in there. I think that would have been identified in the game plan, to be honest. Can we get down that side of Spurs?
4 in the front line again. So it's 4 against 4. Brilliant, I think. And this is something that you picked up on actually, as we were looking at this, and something you noticed with Leandro Trossard.
Yeah, I just think again, as I say, I think Arteta would have worked on this.
I'll play it on slowly.
Can we get down that flank and Trossard rolls inside? And they know that they're trying to go man for man, and Gyokeres just rolls into that left channel, and all of a sudden you've got a 2v2 on the back line, and Raya's got a fantastic kick on him, and all of a sudden it's
actually 3v3 now, isn't it? And that movement from Trossard rolling inside now all of a sudden, because the Spurs want to go man for man. Look at that space that he's got.
Yeah, it creates a real channel for them to attack, and like you say, they're 3v3 on the back line from a goal kick. Fantastic.
Don't actually win the first ball. They pick up the seconds, and then again, whose job is it? I think this is the communication, isn't it? When you haven't worked with the manager for a long period, you've only had a couple of days on the training ground, look at the position that Bukayo Saka picks up in between 2 defenders. Whose job is that? Is that Spence's job for you, or is that Van der Ven's?
Yeah, I think Spencer's got to be on the same line. I think Spencer's got to be on the same line. The only problem he's got is there's no pressure on the ball. So for me, that's where Tottenham came undone. They didn't quite know whether they're pressing or if they're going to be in a block in this phase. Saka's got, he's got so much space to run into still. For me, Spence needs to track his run if he runs in there.
As it is, play it on. Van der Ven tries to stick with him. He gets to the other side and he gets his shot away. Good save, actually, from Vicario. Individuals, you're talking about individual skill. Eberechi this time's drifting out to the left-hand side. He's got the ability to beat his man. But you need a bit of help, don't you? This is Palhinha, you're thinking, do you know what? If I'm beaten here, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Because you've got no support at all. You really need your centre-half, don't you, to come across. Maybe everyone shift across one.
For sure.
And deal with that.
For sure.
You need a bit
Again,
of help.
huge problem was the spacing for Spurs. Can you stop the service to one of Arsenal's best players? And then that is not where you want to be.
I'll play it slowly because now he's beaten him. But that distance now, he has got to travel 28 yards to get to the ball.
Too much. Arsenal played 3 passes. All of a sudden, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players out the game. And like you say, no support from the centre half inside the pitch.
It's brilliant from Eza. Terrific.
Yeah, he's a top
skill.
player.
Comes inside, gets his shot away. Spurs scrambled it to safety. But terrific individual talent as well. Now then, talking about pressing, Tottenham are trying to press. I think they're trying to press man for man. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that was the plan. Yes, they certainly didn't execute the press in the way that they would have hoped, I'm sure. But more time with the manager, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
But for me, it was a little bit easy for Arsenal to get out. Now, of course, you have to accept Arsenal are a top team. They're going to get out at times. You need recovery sprints to come to the fore. But in this moment, it was too easy, really.
Is this too... I don't know. I'll play it on slowly and I'll just play it once they recover into that position now. Now, I look at that and I'm thinking, it just looks so stretched, doesn't it? And I know that Arsenal want to play high up the pitch. They want to keep bodies in that forward line. I've said it in previous clips. This time they've got 3 in that forward line. But that distance between... Let me have a look. If we go from, say, there to the top of the pitch, that is a huge distance, isn't it? You'd want that to be a lot more compact, surely.
Yeah, the starting positions from Tottenham is not good enough, in my opinion. In a pressing shape, in a pressing team, you'd like to see four stripes of grass and the whole team within 4 stripes of grass.
So you're saying that? So when the team are pressing, you're talking about 4 cuts of the grass here.
Yes.
So let's cancel that. So let's cancel that and let's go 4. So we went from the halfway line, 1, 2, 3. So you're talking about that sort of distance in a compact shape.
So obviously when the ball's at the goalkeeper's feet, the centre-halves have to be on the halfway line. They're not.
So they're already
dropping. 12 yards too deep, really.
See, I think that's just a lack of pace, though, isn't it? I mean, if you're
it's a fear.
That's Van der Ven. He's happy to go tight, isn't he? Because he trusts his pace.
Trusts his pace.
Palhinha, Dragosan, perhaps a little bit more nervous about the ball over the top.
But the knock-on effect that these 2 centre-halves being deep have is this, because ultimately, normally when a press would happen and the ball goes out to the right fullback there, you would want probably your 8 to jump.
Yeah.
Your central midfielder 6, that would be, to jump, and your opposite side winger to jump. And
leave this side of the pitch.
Leave this side of the pitch, suffocate the ball in there, but Tottenham don't do that. They manage, Arsenal get out with a good 1-2 down this side. And again, within sort of 3-4 passes, they're attacking the back line. They're 4v4, and they've got a great weak side attack here.
And now they've got 3 against 1.
Yeah, and they're retreating.
The pitch.
And they're retreating. The 2 centre-halves, again, protecting space.
Yeah.
It's a good attack, maybe a good opportunity for a 2v1 in the wide area, but...
Yeah, terrific performance from Arsenal. Going forward, they were brilliant, weren't they? Irresistible. Gyokeres had, I think, his best game, would you say?
I would say so from what I've seen, yes, for sure. The stats and the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah.
42 touches, you can see that's a player that's
the
gaining...
most he's had in a Premier League game.
Yeah, you can see a player that's really gaining confidence. As I said, the manager will be working with him. His teammates will know he needs our help and needs our support. And he's answered his critics in that moment, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at Spurs going forward. Not quite the same. I mean, straight away, if I stop it there, for instance, we saw with Arsenal, they had 4 bodies at the top end of the pitch, didn't they? I'm looking at Spurs, they got 1 in that final line.
Yeah.
They got 1 in that final line. They're very deep, they're trying to play out, but they're not stretching the pitch at all, are they? And Arsenal are really happy to go man for man, aren't they?
I think the difference you see from Arsenal out of possession to Tottenham is the body language of the Arsenal back defenders.
Because there's only 1 up top, where the body's getting into the box, you've got 1 person to aim at.
Yeah. Yeah, they got to do something special to get out.
Yeah.
We got 4v1 on the back line. The probability of them getting out is not good.
Yeah. I mean, if I ask you in Spurs' shape, back three, two wing backs, narrow midfield, who's the width?
Yeah.
The width is surely Archie Gray, yeah?
Uh-huh.
And Jed Spence. That's your width. I look at Spurs here and out. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5 players in a central area. Yeah. There's nobody in these positions out wide. No. Whereas with Arsenal, there's always someone in those positions occupying that area.
That's really easy for Arsenal to defend because they can stay narrow, compact, and they know that there's no threat in the wide areas. For me, the 3 centre-halves for Tottenham have to take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 wide centre-halves can go a little bit wider, which would then naturally push the 2 wing-backs on. And then Arsenal have got a problem. They've got the full width of the pitch to defend.
Yeah.
Whereas when they're so narrow, there's
coming into bodies, aren't they?
And really, you can't really blame the defenders for playing long because ultimately, in the end, they became under pressure and they forced them to play long.
Yeah. Turn it over, Arsenal.
This is Arsenal at their best.
Bukayo Saka, 1v1. They make the block. Then what have you got on? So now Jed Spence has picked the ball up now. So you're going to turn the ball over. How can we get out?
Well, he's got nothing. He's got 2 players ahead of the ball versus, I think, 6.
He's never getting the ball. He's never getting the ball there, is he? He can't get the ball there. He's not going to play that ball across his own 18-yard box. This is your only other option. I mean, literally, as soon as you pick up possession, you've got nothing on.
Yeah, they're suffocated, and Arsenal's press is really good. I think they
sort of
push them into a corner here and regain again.
Yeah,
and a shot on goal. So yeah, I think
they're very
really
good
difficult.
at suffocating, aren't they, Arsenal?
They are. Their press is so good. You see here the lockout I spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
They lock out, regain possession, and Spurs at this stage you're camped in. We've all been there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you're camped in, and you're looking for that first pass, a little bit of quality, but.
And again, so where's your out ball? Mahan is doing the defending on the edge of his own box. Xavi Simons, I mean, it's just a launch forward. There's nothing on, and the ball's regained, and Arsenal kept possession.
Yeah, it was like attack v defence at times.
Yeah.
But that was due to Spurs' lack of quality on their first pass. And can you go from chaos to calm? And then obviously Arsenal have done that. They've gone from a loose ball, bouncing ball, unbelievable pass and great finish.
Don't play a square. Did I say don't play a square pass across your own?
Not at this moment, anyway.
Line, Arsenal, bang, they're on it, aren't they? Straight away.
Again, the body language, the intensity. The intensity to the wing-back goes out there. What it does for these guys behind gives you so much belief to go on the front foot and follow him. And again, a really good chance off of that transition.
It was 4. It could easily have been more, couldn't it, in the game?
Absolutely. Again, 3v1 from a throw-in. Transition.
What's on? How can they get out? There's no way out, is there? Because Arsenal suffocate you so quickly.
Yeah. Look at the intensity. I think that's Ben White there, the intensity that he goes in at. Great finish.
Brilliant
great
again
feet, great finish.
From Gyokeres. He's got work to do, hasn't he?
He has. I'm sure he's going to embrace it, but yeah, he has. He's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, this is Spurs' touches in the opposition box, just 8 in 90 minutes. Not enough, is it?
No, not enough, especially at home. A game where they would have hoped for a sort of goal-mouth action for the fans and the supporters, but hopefully, I'm sure it will come in time.
Yeah, and I'll just have a look at Spurs' attack as well. The attacking numbers, this is their attacking numbers against... I know you're against a brilliant defensive unit, aren't you, in Arsenal, so you have to take that into context. But they've played 27 matches this season. They had 6 attempts, 24th best this season, so only 3 times they've had less. 26 for touches in the opposition box, only 7 expected goals, 20th. He's got to get the balance right, hasn't he, between being hard to beat but also being a threat at the other end.
Yeah, I do. Obviously, Spurs have leaked goals throughout the season, so he would have come into the football club and been well aware of that. And first and foremost, can I get a structure and a shape that we don't concede goals and we give ourselves an opportunity to win games? That's what he'll be going after first, I'm sure. And off the back of that, the team will gain confidence.
Yeah.
And hopefully goals will come.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's head over to Leroy. Leroy, what did you think of...
Put them under pressure, but unfortunately wasn't enough.
Let's have a look at their defending numbers. Premier League average under Pep on the right-hand side. The game against Newcastle on the left-hand side. 23 clearances, 12 headed clearances, tackles 21, block streaks, more than the average under Pep in a Premier League game. Just shows they had to do a bit of defending at the weekend. to see it through.
And they're going to have to do that between now and the end of the season because they're a team who are going to have less of the ball.
What about the title race then? Who's going to win this title race? It is, you think, between these two now, especially, Aston Villa dropping points again. And these are the fixtures. The next 5 game weeks looks a difficult one, but Leeds away isn't easy. Yeah. Either is it? Chelsea at home. And then this one, match week 33.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Is that the decider, do you think? Or is it?
I was under the impression that Man City would always be there or thereabouts. For me, the other fixtures are Man City, West Ham away is a difficult fixture, fighting for their lives. But the big one is Man City, Arsenal.
5 points
I think
the
that
gap.
will decide it.
Yeah. 5 points the gap. You can see the table. City have got a game in hand. That goes to 2. It's really interesting because both teams, they win all their games, they win the title.
Well, I think it's obvious. They're both going to lose to Chelsea, so you can just discount both those games. They're both going to lose 3 points. It's going to be really tight. Look, it's going to go to the right down to the wire.
Absolute prediction. Who's going to win the title?
I still fancy Arsenal. Sorry, I still fancy Arsenal. I fancy Arsenal. They're in the box seat.
I think fixtures-wise, I think if I looked at the 2 fixtures, I think probably Arsenal are the slight favourites. What do you think?
I'm a Man City man, unfortunately.
Are you?
Yeah, I do. I think that they've done it before.
I think one thing's for sure, it's going to the wire. The race for the Champions League is, and the relegation as well. That's it for now. Thank you to Leroy. Thank you to Matt.
Pleasure.
Thank you to you for watching. We'll be back next week with